The Young and the Restless spoilers. There was something about Matt's sudden arrival in Genoa City that unsettled everyone who crossed his path, not because of his reputation or the whispers that followed him from state to state, but because of the urgency in his eyes, an urgency that suggested he was chasing something far more personal, far more dangerous, and far more emotionally explosive than anyone dared to guess. He didn't come for business. He didn't come for revenge in the traditional soap opera sense. He came because something had been taken from him, something he believed belonged to him, something he had spent years searching for. And Genoa City, with all its tangled secrets and fractured families, suddenly became the epicenter of his desperation. Rumors spread quickly, the way they always did in a town where everyone watched everyone else. Some whispered that Matt had come to find an old flame. Others believed he had come to destroy someone who wronged him. But the rumor that caught fire, the one that made people stop and stare in shock, was far more personal. He had come looking for a child, his child. The shocking part wasn't the claim itself. Soap characters revealed hidden children all the time. What made this rumor so electrifying, so destabilizing, was the question no one could answer: whose child was he talking about? No one knew. No one had proof. And yet, Matt walked with the certainty of a man who had already written the ending in his mind. When Matt finally confronted Adam Newman, it was not a calm conversation, not a meeting of two men trying to untangle the truth. It was a collision, a violent crash between past and present, between lies and suspicion, between two men whose lives had already been warped by betrayal. Adam was not expecting him. He hadn't even heard Matt was in town. He had been living his own quiet storm. Worrying about Connor, worrying about Chelsea, worrying about the fractures within himself that he tried so desperately to ignore. So when Matt barged into the room with a fury that felt volcanic, Adam instinctively braced himself, like a man sensing an earthquake seconds before it hit. The accusation came fast, sharp, and brutal. "Where is Connor?" Matt demanded. Adam froze, stunned by the intensity in Matt's voice. He blinked, confused, trying to piece together what Matt was insinuating. "What are you talking about? Why do you care where my son is?" But Matt's expression darkened even more, and before Adam could react, Matt grabbed him by the collar, yanking him forward with enough force to nearly knock the breath out of him. Adam's eyes widened in shock as Matt leaned in, his voice low, furious, trembling with years of pent-up resentment. "Connor," Matt growled, "is my son. Chelsea lied to us, lied to both of us, for years." The words slammed into Adam like a sudden plunge into freezing water. For a moment, everything around him blurred: the walls, the air, the very meaning of the moment. His mind raced back through every memory he had of Chelsea, the trust, the fear, the emotional breakdowns, the manipulations, the attempts at rebuilding, the destruction that followed. Adam had survived betrayal before, but nothing could have prepared him for this. His voice cracked, not out of weakness but out of disbelief. "That's impossible. That is not true. You're lying. You're trying to mess with me." Matt's grip tightened. "I'm done being lied to. She hid him from me. She hid the truth from you. And now, I am here to take back what's mine." Adam shoved Matt off of him, rage flooding his veins. "Get out," he shouted. "You're insane. If you think I'm going to let you walk into my life and take my son." But the punch came fast. Matt swung first. Adam retaliated. And in seconds, the confrontation exploded into a physical fight, the kind of raw, unrestrained fury that only a revelation of stolen fatherhood could ignite. Years of resentment, confusion, and buried wounds erupted through clenched fists and desperate shouts. Furniture overturned. A lamp crashed. Both men hit the ground more than once. It wasn't elegant. It wasn't choreographed. It was messy, dangerous, and heartbreakingly human. Because beneath the fists and the fury, neither man was fighting about DNA. They were fighting about love. They were fighting about betrayal. They were fighting about the fear of losing the one thing that mattered most, a boy who had already endured too much pain in his young life. For Adam, the possibility that Connor was not his biological son shattered something inside him. The emotional connection he had to that child was not about genetics. Connor was his heart. His reason for trying to be better. His reason for fighting his own darkness every single day. The idea that someone could take Connor away, simply because of biology, terrified him in ways he couldn't even articulate. For Matt, the pain came from a different place, a place of years spent trying to understand why his life had been robbed of meaning, why the truth had been buried, why Chelsea had erased him from the narrative entirely. He didn't want revenge. He wanted a connection he believed had been stolen from him. He wanted the chance to know the child he thought he never had. The fight didn't resolve anything. It didn't answer a single question. It only deepened the confusion and amplified the urgency. Because in the aftermath of that explosion, one terrifying truth became clear. Connor was missing. Neither man knew where he was. Chelsea was unreachable. And the entire situation spiraled into a nightmare that was larger than paternity, larger than jealousy, and larger than truth itself. Where was Connor? Was he safe? Was he hiding? Running? Taken? Or was he simply lost, emotionally, physically, psychologically, caught between two men who each believed they had a claim on him? The question that haunted everyone was not just who Connor's biological father might be. It was what this revelation would do to him once it reached his fragile ears. Connor had already struggled with trauma, isolation, and mental health crises. He was a child caught in the crossfire of adults who made too many mistakes to count. And now, he risked being torn apart by a battle he never asked for. If Chelsea lied, why did she do it? Was she protecting Connor, or protecting herself? Was she running from Matt in fear, or running from Adam in guilt? Was she trying to preserve a family, or control the narrative? No one knew yet. All that existed was anger, fear, heartbreak, and an unanswered question that could shatter 3 lives forever. Who was Connor's real father? Adam refused to accept the possibility. Matt refused to let it go. And Connor, wherever he was, remained at the center of a storm that promised to reshape every relationship around him. Because in Genoa City, secrets never stay buried. And this secret of paternity, betrayal, and identity, was about to erupt in a way no one could control. The aftermath of the fight between Adam and Matt left the Newman penthouse in shambles, but the destruction of the room was nothing compared to the emotional wreckage that lingered long after the shouting stopped. Adam stood in the middle of the chaos he and Matt had created, chest rising and falling in frantic, uneven breaths. His knuckles were bruised, his jaw throbbed with pain, and yet none of it registered, not compared to the one thought that consumed every corner of his mind. Where is Connor? Matt had stormed out minutes earlier, wiping blood from his lip with a rage that hadn't calmed at all. His parting words still echoed through the room like a threat Adam couldn't outrun. If he's not with you, then she took him, because she knows her lies are about to come out. Adam wanted to scream at him, follow him, tackle him to the ground again, force him to take it all back. But when he tried to swallow the anger, all he felt was fear. Deep, suffocating, parental fear that made his thoughts spiral in every direction at once. He pulled out his phone for the 10th time, calling Chelsea again, but the automated voicemail hit like a slap each time. No response. No text. No clue. And then a darker thought crept in, one he refused to say out loud. What if Chelsea ran? What if she knew this truth was coming for her? Chelsea had disappeared before. She had hidden Connor before. She had uprooted their lives before. But this time, the stakes were different. This time, there was another man claiming fatherhood, a man with anger in his eyes and years of resentment boiling just beneath the surface. If Matt was telling the truth, if there was even a fraction of truth, then everything Adam thought he knew about Connor's childhood, about Chelsea's love, about their family, was nothing but a fabrication. Yet another voice in his head whispered something equally terrifying. What if Matt is lying? What if he's manipulating this? What if he's dangerous? Adam felt trapped between two realities, each more devastating than the last. And somewhere in between those realities stood Connor, silent, vulnerable, missing. When the front door burst open, Adam spun around, hard hammering, expecting Chelsea. But instead, he saw Nick Newman bounding in, out of breath and pale. What the hell happened here? Nick demanded, eyes darting across the broken furniture and overturned shelves. Adam didn't answer immediately. His throat felt tight. His chest felt like it was caving in. Connor's gone, he finally said, voice hoarse. Chelsea isn't answering. And Matt, he stopped himself, unsure how much he wanted to reveal. Nick stepped fully into the room, his expression shifting from shock to anger. What did this guy say to you? What did he want? When Adam didn't reply fast enough, Nick grabbed his brother's shoulder. Adam. What did he say? And for the first time since the confrontation began, Adam allowed himself to say the words out loud, even though they tasted like poison. He claims Connor is his son. Nick blinked, as if the words didn't make sense at first, as if his brain refused to accept them. Matt? Matt thinks he's Connor's father? His tone was incredulous, but underneath it was alarm. The Newman family had weathered scandals before, but this was nuclear-level chaos. Adam nodded slowly. He said Chelsea lied. That she hid the truth from both of us. Nick's face hardened. And you believe him? No, Adam said quickly. Too quickly. I mean, I don't want to. But, he closed his eyes, fighting the flood of memories. Chelsea's mood swings. Her sudden disappearances. Her frantic need to control their life. The secrets she kept from him. The times she refused to talk about the early months of her pregnancy. Nick saw the shift in Adam's eyes. Adam, there's doubt in you. There's fear, Adam corrected, voice breaking. He's my son, Nick. My son. And now I don't know what's real anymore. Before Nick could respond, Adam's phone vibrated. Both men lunged toward the screen, but instead of Chelsea's name, it was a message from an unknown number. A single sentence. If you want the truth, stop looking for her. Nick cursed under his breath. This is bad. Really bad. But Adam barely heard him. He stared at the message with a mixture of fury and dread. It wasn't Matt, the tone was wrong. This message was cold, methodical, almost calculated. Someone else was involved. Someone who wanted them to believe Chelsea was the problem. Someone who wanted Connor hidden. Someone who wanted the men in this triangle at war. Suddenly, everything felt bigger than Matt's rage or Adam's fear. Something more sinister was unfolding. Meanwhile, on the other side of Genoa City, Chelsea Lawson sat trembling in the passenger seat of a car parked in an abandoned lot. Tears streaked down her cheeks as she clutched a soft sweatshirt she had brought for Connor, his favorite one, the one he wore during his calmer days. But the back seat was empty. The weight of that emptiness crushed her. She wasn't running. She wasn't hiding. She wasn't manipulating. She was terrified. Because someone had already taken Connor. Hours earlier, she had arrived home to find his backpack on the floor, his tablet still on the couch, and the door to his room slightly open. But the moment she stepped inside, she felt it in her gut, the emptiness, the stillness, the wrongness. And on his bed, she found a note written in sharp, deliberate handwriting. You owe me the truth. Bring it to me, or he stays gone. No signature. No name. Just a threat. Chelsea knew exactly who had taken him, but she couldn't tell Adam. Because telling him would unleash the very thing she had spent years trying to prevent. She looked at her trembling hands. She whispered to herself. I have to fix this. I have to end this before it destroys him, before it destroys Connor. Back at the penthouse, Adam stormed toward the door, ready to tear the city apart until he found his son. Nick tried to stop him, but Adam yanked his arm away. If something happens to him, Adam said, voice shaking, I will never forgive myself. I don't care who I have to go through. Matt. Chelsea. God himself. I'm bringing Connor home. Nick followed him, knowing Adam would destroy himself if he faced this alone. But neither brother knew that Connor wasn't with Chelsea. And he wasn't with Matt either. He was somewhere neither of them suspected, somewhere he had been taken because of a secret Chelsea buried long ago, one that could unravel more lives than just Adam's and Matt's. A secret that could rewrite Connor's entire identity. And as Chelsea wiped her tears and looked up at the empty back seat, she whispered the truth she never wanted to say aloud. Connor, you're not supposed to know who he is.